Hi everyone, welcome to the Knacklers workshop. Today we're going to have a quick look at the Unimat SL electric motor. As you can see, this is all disassembled, and that was primarily because I had to take it apart to learn how to do it. And my plans, it needs quite a few new components to hopefully get the thing going again. This was from an old machine I bought, and the wiring was terrible, and it had never the motor has never run, so whether I can get it going is another matter. So let me just try and walk you through the disassembly process and the lessons I've learned. So obviously it looks something like this when it's assembled. So the first thing I did was I removed the pulley. This was a non-standard one, so I took the pulley off. I then took the brushes out. So just all you have to do is unscrew those. They're like Bakelite or something like that. So you have to be relatively cautious. Slide the brushes out. And the thing that you don't want to do, and it's really important not to do, there's a screw here. Don't undo that at this stage. If you do, you're 100% committed to actually completing the job. If you don't do it, you could always change your mind, and if you feel it's maybe a bit beyond you. Okay, so once you've brushed this out, pulley off, you then turn to this end, and let's have a look. So what I've got is what was it, a 5mm, I think, 5mm socket. So we went in there, and sorry, I'm just trying to see the top of the screen. That's it. Undone these the bolts. So you undo the two nuts, and then you can. Well, you can't actually slide this off because in reality, let me just move this over here. Check, we can see that's in there, and you're going to go zzz, yeah. Now one of the challenges is this is a really close fit into here. So when that's like that, what you really don't want to do is be wedging a screwdriver in here or anything like that to try and lever it open. This one has had some, it's been apart before by someone, and there is some damage to the edge here. So all I did was wriggled it around, and I managed to create a gap. So once I had a slight gap, what I then did, I used some Fox wedges. So I don't know if you're not familiar with them, you're pretty easy to make. They're just mild still, just 2 wedges. And what I did was I managed to get one in slightly, and then I just started to move. Because we've got a wider surface area than a screwdriver, it had very little impact. And then I just slowly went round and got it. And then as I got it further apart, I then used the wedging sort of effect by using a second one, and then you could push them together, and that would obviously create the bigger gap. But I really would sort of suggest you really take your time with it, because otherwise you'll just mess up these edges and you'll end up with an electric motor looking like someone who doesn't know what they're doing has been messing around with it. So what actually happened was the end that the nuts come off, and that eventually you'll be able to pull that off, and it's a slow process. That's all I can say. So let's just put this there. Then what you'll be faced with is two spindles that come out, or two threaded bar. And so what you're going to do is, and I believe there's a nut there, but on this one the nuts were missing, so no, there can't be a nut there. So you've got two threaded bars. So what you need to do is take these out. Now if you're not so familiar, one of the easy ways to do is to put both the nuts you've taken off from there onto it, lock one, you lock the bottom one against the top one, and then you can undo it with the top, and you can unscrew that. What you don't want to be doing is getting hold of it with pliers and then messing up all the thread. So you take these two out, and then what you've effectively got is this that looks something like this, and then you've got to try and, again, it's just a push fit, you've got to try and push this away from it. Now all I used was an old bit of copper. This is very old. I used to have this back when I earned a living at this in the 70s, and I actually ended up using another bit of copper as a hammering thing. And all I did was I just slowly went round again, just slowly get it to move. The danger is you get it on an angle, and all you're actually doing is creating greater pressure, and so that it won't come off. So it's really important to try and keep it parallel as you move it down. Again, I know I keep saying this, but slowly is the key to doing this. Once you've got it out, it won't pull out straight away because you've got all the wires connected in here. And if we look in here, what we've got is we've got some sort of capacitor thing. And now, where I told you earlier about not taking that screw out, what we can see, I don't know whether you can see down here, hopefully you can see the light changing, is where that screw is. Now, what someone had done on this motor is undone it. There's a nut that goes on there at the other side of the screw. This is not a threaded hole. And then the nut ended up rattling around in here. And when we take this out, we can see all the damage that it's done. So clearly that's why you really don't want to take that. You don't want to take that nut out until such times as you've got this apart from this. So once you've taken that, got that apart, to be able to remove this, there are two clips, and these clips here fit, it's very difficult, this clip on there, and you could just pull them out. You have to be very gentle because this is obviously, as you can see, pretty thin wiring. You can slide that out, and then so these wires are effectively the wires that come through the end here that actually power the machine. There was an earth wire that seemed to be going nowhere, and that is also, this little red one here is the one that goes round, that is held with the nut and bolt on this hole here. So it is a bit of a performance once you get in here. There is this capacitor thing, I think that's what it is. I've written the number down. I'm going to do some research and see if I can try and locate some of these, so if anyone needs them. I've managed to, so the grommet was gone on here. I've managed to source some of these, so that will fit in there. I'm not going to go through fitting them because I plan to paint this, but it really is a slowly process to get these things apart. So once you've got it apart, then you've got the two bearings. So again, just you need a bearing puller to pull them off, and obviously a way to press them the back on. Now when I've had this, because this has been disassembled for a few weeks, I've just kept it, whilst not in use, kept it in there, and I've just wrapped it in some paper towel just to keep it the matching pair together. And then it's really like the good old workshop manuals, you know, reassembling the reverse order. But the real key takeaways from this is you can get this off, this second half, but it is you just got to be patient, and I think if you go at it like a bull at a gate, you will just cause a whole lot more damage. The only thing I haven't actually worked out is how you take these out, which are the square holes that you use, that the brushes go through. On this particular work, it doesn't really matter because we haven't, they're not damaged. But for my own interest, I would like to know or be able to do it. But if I do that on another motor, if I have to, I will make sure I'll document it for everyone. Yeah, so other than that, that's really about it. So my job to get this one back and running, and to be truthful, I don't know, my knowledge on any of the electrical is pretty well, zero really. I don't know whether these big chunks out of here will have an impact on it, but I will reassemble it and see whether it works really, I guess. But I have to change these wires, and you can see this is all very not the best craftsmanship here, and put a new mains cable on. So I've purchased that somewhere. I've got a new plug for it. What I'm trying to find is a suitable online switch to allow it. So just try and put it back to the standard configuration. I think I showed you in a hodgepodge, I'm building a gold SL for milling. So I'm going to paint these gold to match the rest of the things. But I just thought it was really important to be conscious of the fact, don't undo that, because I have seen, I think it was one of the other channels where they didn't successfully get this apart. But the danger is if you've undone that, the nuts popped in here, and then and then you abort trying to take the rest off. You've got this nut floating around in there, and it's just going to do damage. So yeah, I just thought it was important to make you guys aware of that. But it is possible to get it completely apart if you need to change the grommet. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it on this one. I hope it's useful. As always, stay happy, strong and healthy, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheerio.